Barton the Badger's Shape-Shifting Struggle, written and illustrated by Trevor Roebke. Off in a sunny valley, in a village known as Howardsville, lives a family of badgers. Barton is an only child and is dearly loved by his gracious and loving parents. Barton is not your typical badger. Instead of staying in his underground house like the rest of his family, he enjoys being outside in the fresh air, climbing trees, running around, and playing with his best friend, Guthrie the Gopher. Together, this fierce duo use their imaginations to conquer evil villains, slay dragons, and rescue make-believe princesses. Together, Barton and Guthrie feel like they can triumph over anything. Unbeknownst to Guthrie, Barton has a secret. He does not like the way he looks. His striped black and gray face gives the appearance of a skunk, and the bullies regularly tease him with the nickname Skunk Boy. While playing in the nearby park, Barton encounters the barnyard bullies, Bile, Burley, and Briggan. Barton tries to flee from sight, but Bile spots him and calls out, "Well, looky here, it's Skunk Boy. Ew, he is extra smelly today." "Yeah, Burley, I could smell him all the way from my house." "Stop it, that's not very nice." "Where's your gopher friend? He isn't here to protect you." Holding back tears, Barton runs and climbs up his favorite tree to get away from the barnyard bullies. He can still hear the faint mocking of the bullies in the distance. "Look at him, he's crying like a little skunk baby." Drying off the tears, Barton checks to see if the barnyard bullies have gone, then makes a dash toward Guthrie's house. "Barton, what's wrong? Have you been crying?" "What? No, I haven't been crying." Okay, just checking. It's just that the bullies said some mean things." "Those bullies are lame. You shouldn't listen to them." Burley couldn't even spell his own name, let alone Bile, whose name is downright awful. "They made fun of my face again. They called me Skunk Boy. I wish that I wasn't a badger and could be a cool animal sometimes." "Oh, you don't want that. I think you're pretty cool just the way you are." "Thanks, Guthrie." "Hey, I just bought a new dragon action figure. Do you want to play it with me?" "That sounds awesome." That night, Barton climbs into bed with thoughts swirling in his head. With the mean barnyard bully still on his mind, Barton wishes that his skunk-like appearance would disappear. As sleep washes over Barton, Whitkin the Wizard appears in a puff of smoke. "Little badger, you have wished for a new body, I see. Well, let us see what we can do, shall we? Windows of Jovina flow away, I heard your call from miles away. I, Whitkin the Wizard with abilities of sorcery, transform your badger body to help your life flow more normally." A flash of bright light washes over Barton. The magical wizard waves his hand over Barton's badger body. Suddenly, without awakening, Barton's body begins to change form. His body elongates and his color begins to change. His bed begins to sag under the sudden added weight. And just like that, the magic stops. Whitkin disappears and Barton is alone, peacefully sleeping in his new animal form. Barton, awakening the next morning with the birds chirping outside, vaguely remembers a part of a dream he had during the night of some man using magic. Deciding to get ready for the day ahead, Barton raises his head off the pillow and hits the ceiling. Very confused and disoriented, Barton rubs his head, but nothing happens. Barton looks down and notices a long, spotted neck right below his head. Following the neck, he sees an unrecognizable body that moves when he wants it to. Panicking, Barton notices other features that are not quite right. Along with his long neck, his fur has changed colors from gray to yellow with orange spots. Instead of paws, Barton has hooves. Beginning to realize that he no longer has any resemblance to a badger, he grows excited. Looking in the mirror, Barton the badger no longer looks back at him. Instead, it is Barton the giraffe. "Oh boy, my wish came true. I don't look like a skunk anymore. This is the best day of my life. I must show Guthrie the good news. He is going to be so surprised." Barton races off to Guthrie's house to show him his new body and to brag about how tall he is. "Guthrie is going to be shocked. He won't even recognize me." On his way over to Guthrie's house, Barton notices that he has difficulty walking because of his large legs and seems to run into various stones and is unusually clumsy. When Barton arrives at his best friend's house, he rings the doorbell. Who are you? It's me, Barton. What? Is this some kind of joke? Barton is a badger. You are obviously a giraffe. No, Guthrie, you have to listen to me. Something happened last night. I transformed. Just let me in. I can explain. I'm not allowed to talk to strangers. Plus, I don't think you can even fit in my house. Goodbye. No, Guthrie, you have to listen. Guthrie shut the door and the sad giraffe standing outside. Leaving Guthrie's house, Barton is sad that he can't play with his best friend. He decides to climb a tree to make himself feel better, but with his new body, climbing his favorite tree is impossible. Beginning to realize that being a giraffe has its disadvantages and is not a great animal to be, Barton calls out to the universe. I don't want to be a giraffe anymore. I'd rather be any other animal. I can't climb trees, I can't play with my best friend. I just wish I was a smaller animal. Barton passes by the park and sees the barnyard bullies. Bile, Burley, and Briggan are standing, waiting to cause trouble. As Barton passes, he stumbles on a rock. Been walking long legs? Yeah, I've been walking long. Good one, Bile. Barton, embarrassed, continues to walk home, disappointed that being a giraffe is not as great as he thought. As night falls, Barton crams into his room and lies on his bed. Once again, he calls out, I wish I was another animal. A giraffe is just too big. Barton begins to grow tired and soon falls asleep. During the night, Whitkin the wizard appears and looks over Barton's giraffe-like body. Didn't like the giraffe body, huh? Well, I suppose that a smaller animal would suit you quite well. Mendoza, Joblina flew away, I heard your call from miles away. I, Whitkin the wizard with abilities of sorcery, transform your giraffe body to help your life flow more normally. Magic powers began to come out of the sorcerer's outstretched fingers. Suddenly, Barton's yellow and orange body begins to shrink and become red in color. He grows even smaller than his original badger size. It is hard to see him under his blankets. In an instant, the wizard disappears, and Barton is alone, peacefully sleeping in his new animal form. Waking up from another peaceful sleep, Barton realizes that he is under something soft and warm. Not sure what it is, he begins to realize he is not the clumsy giraffe he was yesterday. Soon he finds an opening in the sophomore material and realizes that everything in his room has grown 5 times the size it should be. What? Why is my dresser a skyscraper? Why is my bed the size of an island? What has happened? Has it happened again? It has. I'm no longer an enormous giraffe. I'm an ant. This is so much better. Admiring his new body, Barton begins to explore his surroundings. I think I'm going to go see Guthrie. Maybe he will understand today. About halfway to Guthrie's house, Barton begins to realize how hard it is to be an ant. Large animals pay no attention to him as they almost crush his body with their hooves. Swerving and zigzagging, Barton becomes tired. Not sure where he is because of the tall grass, he begins to feel sad again that he can't do the things he wants to do. Frustrated that this new animal form doesn't help him in the slightest, Barton begins to think of all the great things he could be doing if he was in his old badger body. If I was a badger again, I could be playing with Guthrie. I could be climbing trees, I could be running around, not afraid of being crushed. I have learned my lesson. I don't want to be a tall giraffe nor a small ant. I want to be me, a badger. Barton turns back toward his home and trudges back through the tall grass, evading the occasional hoof of another animal. Arriving home, Barton crawls back into bed and desperately wishes that this would all end. He wants to talk with his best friend. He wishes hard to turn back into a badger. Once again, Whitkin the wizard appears as Barton is fast asleep. Looking over his tiny ant body, the wizard raises his hand and points his staff in the direction of Barton. Seems like you have learned your lesson. You were made who you were supposed to be. When Doza Joplina flew away, I heard your call from miles away. I, Whitkin the wizard with abilities of sorcery, transform your ant body to help your life flow more normally. His magic powers erupt out of his hands, and Barton's ant body grows back to his original size. His striped face becomes recognizable again. Whitkin nods in approval and disappears in an instant, and Barton is alone, peacefully sleeping its original badger form. Rising timidly, praying that he is a badger, Barton touches his fur and notices how familiar it feels. His dresser is no longer towering over him. His bed is a normal size. Barton raises to his mirror and sees his striped face looking back at him. I am me again. This is awesome. I can't wait to play with Guthrie and climb my favorite tree. Racing to Guthrie's house is fantastic as he stops and climbs his favorite tree, just for good measure. After a swift knock on the door, Guthrie answers. Barton hugs his friend out of happiness of finally being able to talk to him. What is happening? You have no idea how excited I am to see you. And why is that? I have so much to tell you. And with that, the two friends enter Guthrie's house and Barton tells his story. The next day, Barton and Guthrie are climbing their favorite tree when they both notice Bile, Burley, and Briggan walking toward them.
Hey, look fellas, it's Skunk Boy and his little friend.
Ew, I can smell him from a mile away. Yeah, yuck, he sure is smelly. Hey guys, beautiful day outside, huh?
Aren't you scared of us? Shouldn't you be crying by now?
Yeah, where are the waterworks? Come on, I want to see some tears. Nah, I'm not scared anymore. I have learned to be proud of who I am, and I'm not going to listen to bullies. You all are very mean. Turning, climbing down, and walking away from the barnyard bullies, Barton smiles to himself, feeling his new sense of confidence and appreciation of who he is. Wow, Barton, how did you learn to stand up to the barnyard bullies? I don't know, Guthrie. Probably with the help of magic. They both laugh as they pretend to slay the imaginary dragons swarming their castle.